Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Mario Kart 64 and really dive into some of the history behind the speedrunning of the game, which to this very day is a constant battle for world records. First, I would just like to remind everyone that if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. For most kids that grew up with Mario Kart 64, there is an obvious sense of competition within this game. It was one of the only games I played continuously through college with my friends on a regular basis. The battle mode lets you destroy each other in the arena. The versus mode lets you destroy each other on the racetrack. The Grand Prix mode lets you race against the computer, and the time trials mode gives you a feverish competition against yourself. It was a never-ending source of good old-fashioned multiplayer fun and personal accomplishment. Truly, it's been able to withstand the test of time because the RNG is balanced and fair, and the physics and game mechanics have an undoubtable learning curve. The mixture of these important factors keep players coming back for more because you can keep learning and learning about how to play the game better and continue to beat your times over and over again. The game was released in December of 1996 in Japan and February of 1997 in North America. It wasn't available in the UK and the rest of Europe until June of 1997. It was the second game in the Mario Kart series, following Super Mario Kart for the SNES, but was the first to be in true polygon-based 3D graphics. This meant that changes in elevation were possible, and allowed the game developers to build in all sorts of track designs that incorporated upward and downward movement like mountains and hills, bridges and barriers that eventually were found could be broken. But we'll touch more on that later. There are 4 different game modes that I mentioned above: Grand Prix, Time Trials, Versus, and Battle Mode. In Grand Prix mode, you race against the computer either by yourself or with a second player. You can choose between 4 different cups, each of which contain 4 racetracks, so 16 tracks in total throughout the game. The race contains all 8 characters, so you can finish between 1st and 8th, and there are items throughout the course that you can collect that can be used as booby traps, speed boosts, or power-ups. So it's a real fight to the finish. The further back from first place you are, the better quality items you'll get. You receive 1 to 9 points depending on which place you finish, from first to fourth. First place gets you 9 points. Second place gets you 6 points. Third place gets you 3 points. And fourth place gets you 1 point. If you finish between 5th and 8th place, you receive no points and do not advance to the next track. At the end of the cup, the top 3 racers with the most points are given trophies: gold, silver, and bronze. There are 3 difficulties based on engine size, and from easiest to hardest, slowest to fastest, they go 50cc, 100cc, and 150cc. There's also an unlockable extra mode that allows you to race the track backwards. The time trials mode is a single-player endeavor where you are racing for the best times on each track in 2 different categories: fastest lap and fastest 3-lap. There are no item boxes and no other characters on the track. You are given 3 shrooms to use at your own discretion, and that's it. Your top 5 times from each track are saved, and if you want, you can also save ghost data, which is an intangible ghost replay of a saved race that you can race against. This is the mode that has driven many men insane with greed and lust. More on that later. The versus mode allows 2 to 4 players to race a single track from these 4 cups without the involvement of computer characters, so that's a lot of fun. And the battle mode lets 2 to 4 players duke it out in 4 different arena tracks, using items to destroy each other. Each player starts with 3 balloons, and each time they are damaged, they lose a balloon. And when a player loses all of their balloons, they are eliminated. If there are more than 2 players, the first players to be eliminated are turned into little bomb carts that can use their ghostly powers to attack a player who still has balloons left. So there are 8 characters to choose from in the game: Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Bowser, Wario, and Donkey Kong, who actually replaced Magic Koopa, who was originally supposed to be in the game instead of DK. If you're playing in battle mode, you'll want to use the heavyweight guys, Bowser, Wario, or Donkey Kong, because if you smash into other players at a higher speed using these characters, they will spin out and lose a balloon. There really isn't much use for these characters otherwise in the game. The same physics apply to these characters during racing mode, but they are slower than every other character. Which brings me to my next point. The fastest lightweight characters are Toad, Yoshi, and Peach. They are all equally fast, so naturally these are the characters you'll want to use for time trials. The middleweight characters are Mario and Luigi, and really there's zero reason to use these characters. They're pretty much worthless. Originally, when development began in 1995, the game was called Super Mario Kart R, where the R stood for rendered, and it was meant to be released alongside the console as a launch title. The design from the game is surprisingly super lightweight. While the world was built using Polygon 3D, the Kart characters are actually all sprite-based graphics, simulating this 3D effect, making them very easy to render. A few other games on the N64 did this, notably the Cruisin' games, which I think is a lot more obvious that cars are sprites. I always thought those games looked much worse than Mario Kart, but I'm sure there are people that would disagree with me on that opinion. The soundtrack to the game is one of my most favorite things ever. It's so nostalgic and makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside every time I hear it. The songs were composed by a man named Kenta Nagata, and it was his first time ever working on a Nintendo game. So yeah, that in a nutshell is everything you need to know about Mario Kart 64. Or at least that's what you thought you needed to know. You know, at some point, after putting a childhood's amount of time into this game, I discovered how to mini turbo. This mechanic is not intuitive. There's no tutorial in this game. They don't explain this stuff at all. But there it was the whole time. And the secret to beating your times and turning this game from a fun afternoon into a lifetime of obsession. So let's talk about the Mario Kart 64 speedrunning community, where this obsession begins. One would think you could just go to speedrun.com, look up Mario Kart 64, and see what was going on. And here is the leaderboard for the All Cups, No Skips category on the day I'm recording this video, which is the 21st of February. We can see Beck Abney at the top, also known as Abney317, followed by Daniel Burbank in second place, and Matthias Rustemeyer in third. This is the category for running the game from start to finish without using any major skips that were unintended by the developers. On the next page, we see the All Cups Skips category. Also notice Abney at the top of this page here. Without a doubt, this has been Abney's domain for as long as I've been paying attention to Mario Kart speedrunning, which is probably around 3 or 4 years at this point. He's been contributing runs to speedrun.com for over 6 years and has been the main contributor in pushing the skips world record down to where it sits today at 24:19. That's over a minute faster than the second place time. Speedrun.com is obviously a very well-known hub for speedrun records, and Abney has done nothing short of absolutely dominating the competition. Within the last year, though, Daniel Burbank, aka Dan's Game 89, actually took world record from Abney briefly in the no skips department, but Abney was quick to take it back 2 months later. So obviously the speedruns here are any percent runs. finishing the entire game. But what about the fastest times for each track individually? You'll notice that these aren't listed here on speedrun.com, and that's because Mario Kart has a massive online community website with all of the Mario Kart competition and data that you could ever imagine. And it's all over at mariokart64.com. Here's where you'll find the most intense Mario Karters from around the world, consistently challenging each other to push for that 1/100th of a second time save. So new players can fill out their times for each track, both non-shortcut and shortcut times, 3-lap and fast lap personal records players are then ranked based on their average finish times, total times combined, and their world records achieved. Each time submitted is individually ranked in the standard ranking system, ranging from God tier all the way down to newbie F, and are then averaged out to provide an overall standard rank for the player. I'm currently sitting in the semi-pro A rank. Hopefully I'll be pushing my way into pro rank soon. My goal is to land somewhere in the elite rank, as I've already started hitting master times. So once I hit elite, I'll probably stop trying to push for better times. But until then, I want to push myself to that next level, but I haven't yet been able to touch. And this will require flawless execution of mini turbos and SSMTs, which stands for straight stretch mini turbos. And I haven't been able to master that technique yet. It's where you do a mini turbo boost on a straight part of the track, and it's really hard. As you've probably been watching too, I need to really clean up my mini turbo game first before I even start attempting SSMTs. I need to space out my mini turbos so there is more time between each to really get the full benefit of the boost. But during a race, it's kind of hard to focus on that, so it's something you need to practice over time and be aware of. So let's take a look at the world ranking list, where you can see the real cream of the crop. Daniel Burbank is the best in the world right now, a position pretty much stolen from Matthias Rustemeyer around 8 months ago. MR at one point held 31 out of 32 individual track records for the non-shortcut times, which was unreal. Everybody thought that he was going to hit that 32 out of 32. But Dan surprised everyone with a collection of times he'd been hoarding and waiting to release all at once. Dan took 21 of those records. MR currently has 13 and Abney has 1. There are only 22 total shortcut records, and Abney holds 16 of them, so that's undoubtedly his specialty. I guess there was a little drama that went on when Dan decided to release all of his times, but I don't see a real big deal with that. Just to put my little opinion on there. I think if he wants to release them all at once, that's his agenda, whether it aggravates people or not. But I can see why it's an issue. You know, you think that you've made all of this progress towards being the best, and then suddenly somebody comes along and absolutely puts you in your place in a way. So yeah. Anyway, this world ranking list goes on and on, all the way down to rank 1,280. It's a super fun way to see where you are in the world and work your way towards moving up the ranks. And I would recommend anyone with any interest in running the game to send in their times and see where they rank. Today we're going to be finishing up my all cups, no skips PR, which is a time I was super happy to achieve. Obviously, full of plenty of mistakes, which is great. It gives me the opportunity for more time save in the future. I think I could probably shave about another minute or so, at least, off of this time with my current skill level. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. I want to thank everybody for watching today, and please hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.